Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Chuck Hogan with Your Best Life, and welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores on iOS and Android devices. Now, while you download, make sure that you rate and leave a comment, please. The app's completely free, and Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire Sticks, Roku Sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 and forward. So we have a really special treat for you tonight, and this is a man who I have come to admire on so many different levels, but I will say that as the godfather of biohacking and as someone who's looked at health and longevity and vitality for many, many years, I have followed Mr. Dave Asprey's work at a very high level. And what I can tell you about this gentleman is that he walks the talk. He's not someone who just studies a great deal. He actually exercises, partakes, experiments, and literally goes through the exercise of exposing himself, his body, with science, with not just theory, but I'll say with common sense as to how we can all gain greater health and vitality, and not just in your physicality, but body, mind, and spirit. It really is a combined effort. And so, Dave, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is such a treat for me, and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you and your time, because I know how busy you are, brother. You're all over the globe. Holy smokes.
It's my pleasure to be here for you, Chuck. I appreciate our friendship and all the work that we get to do together.
So, thank you, my man. Thank you. Well, again, and that's why this show exists. Your Best Life is literally about helping everyday folks find a little bit more about themselves and kind of removing some of the mystery that shrouds some of the technology that's out there too. And for the everyday guy who's working 2 or 3 jobs, or gal, and they're trying to make ends meet, I'd really love to kind of jump into tonight with you, Dave, about where is it that people are finding inspiration, or where can they find some knowledge that's actually pragmatic, practical, and usable to help them just, number one, increase their energy levels. Well, I keep seeing some of these people, and I ask them how they're doing, and they go, I'm all right. I'm getting by. And you hear like this really kind of survival ideology in them. What would you say to someone? They go, okay, give me a great resource, Mr. Asprey. Where should I go to find some common sense knowledge about how I can actually help elevate my energy? Something, that baseline.
Well, I've written only 8 books about this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
I would say that there's 2, and I'm saying this because what we all want is just tell me what to do, right? And if there was just one thing that universally worked for everyone, it would be coffee. Okay, it doesn't work for everyone. 10% of people can't process caffeine, and then they stay up all night, right? But it's a pretty good, reliable one. So I'm sorry, it's personalized, but it's not that hard. And there is an algorithm, a way to think about it so you can solve what you need. And my most recent book is called Smarter, Not Harder. And it's exactly that. It's saying, look, you don't have to work hard to get results. And this is irritating for some people, but think about it. We've all learned, in fact, we've learned it so deeply that even the idea that you might be lazy probably triggers you. And then, you see your high school coach yelling at you and making you run circles around the football field and all the other nonsense. The reality is that you're an entrepreneur, you're lazy. You found a better way and you did that. And the difference between an entrepreneur and someone who works hard is you say, well, I want you to dig 100 feet of ditch. And the guy says, I got a shovel, I'll go work hard. And the entrepreneur says, I got a tractor and I'll pay someone to run it. And he's done it in an hour. And then he goes and he does something else he wanted to do. You can do the same thing on getting your energy back. Working hard, suffering, struggling, or even worse, being hungry all the time, like I did when I weighed 300 pounds. I'm 7% body fat. I am never hungry. And my brain works effortlessly, and better than it ever has. So do I work hard for that? Actually, I don't. I work out 20 minutes a week. I work out less than most people here, even the ones who barely work out at all. I just do it with AI tools, so I get more results in less time. So I want you to understand, you can say, I have to work hard to get my energy back. Dude, you don't have energy. You're not going to work hard. Let's just face it. So what are you going to do? I would say read Smarter, Not Harder, because it's going to help you understand what is the real goal. Because it may be energy. This is one of 5 or 6 goals that people want. And usually they start out with, I either want my energy or I want weight loss. But another group, I want muscles. I want them back. Like I don't want to look like this. Another group, I want my cardiovascular performance, which is different than having energy. You can winded going up the stairs and feel energetic all the time. Right. And then some people, they want the ability to manage stress better. And surprisingly, that's people want that more than losing weight right now. And the final thing they're saying is, I want to live longer. And so these are the things that I take them through at Upgrade Labs, which is a franchise. We're opening right now 27 of them across the US and Canada. You can go to ownandupgradelabs.com if you want to learn more about that, including with some mutual friends of ours.
Absolutely.
And the idea here is, which of those is your goal? Because maybe it was energy, maybe it wasn't. And then where are you today? Right.
Right.
And it turns out if you're a woman who's 25 and a man who's 75, you might need different things, even if you have the same goal. Right. So
go figure.
We're measuring where you are. And when you read the book, I tell you to do this yourself. And then we're saying, let's custom craft, and in this case, using AI, a path to which technologies, which techniques, which foods are going to get you to the path in the least possible amount of pain and suffering and friction is what I call it.
Love it.
And I can go into a few suggestions that work for almost everyone, if that would be helpful.
Please, by all means.
Okay. The vast majority of people listening to this today are deficient in high quality protein. The big food industry, and guys, I built $100 million plus a year food business called Bulletproof. You've heard of Bulletproof coffee probably. So I've talked to the CEOs of most of the big companies, and all the grocery stores and all that kind of stuff. And the reality is, for years, they were getting away with paying someone from UCLA, a doctor, tens of millions of dollars, and his name is Dr. Dean Ornish, to say that a calorie is a calorie, which lets them sell you corn syrup instead of high quality food, right? Unless you say that sugar is the same thing as steak and eggs or avocados or fava beans. They're totally different, and we all know that. So the calorie scam is up. We've actually shown over and over that you can make people gain weight on low calories and you can make people lose weight on high calories. It's not a good way to think. So now they go, aha, protein. It's a protein problem. Now, what they're not telling you is that's also a scam. Because check this out. If I made a cookie out of pure gluten, it would be a keto protein cookie because gluten's a protein. Now, you might know gluten's a little bit different than other proteins. Or I could make a cookie out of spider venom, which is an animal-based protein. Probably shouldn't eat that one. Or you could make it out of sarin, the nerve gas that kills people. It's one of the most deadly substances on earth. It comes from beans. It's a plant-based protein. It's not modified from meat. It's actually just extracted from beans. So there you have it. All kinds of protein will kill you. Or different proteins do different things. And these big food companies, corn protein, throw that in there. Oh, insect protein, sure. They're going to trick you with protein. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, you want your energy back? Have 30 to 50 grams of animal protein, ideally from grass-fed, organic, pastured animals, but do your best. Have that with every meal first. And when you do that, you're going to say, that's a lot of protein. You sure I can eat that much steak? Yes. I really have to have 4 eggs in the morning? Yes. Oh, you don't have room for the muffin? Too bad. But when you do this, it doesn't take very long. And you go, that's weird. I have to buy new pants because my pants got suddenly loose and my energy's back and the 2 p.m. slump didn't happen.
Yes.
The second thing you would do is you would say, I am not eating those stupid seed oils they started selling in 1972 that are the primary cause of diabetes and the increase in cancers. There are other causes. We're talking canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, and all the other kinds of liquid nonsense oils that are chemically extracted. My favorite one is rapeseed oil, which is known as canola. It was an industrial lubricant. So when they stopped making French fries at McDonald's in beef fat, which is very good for frying, and they replaced them with these weird oils, diabetes and obesity rates started going up and they've never stopped. This is a primary cause. We know the mechanism. We have the studies. There's no question about this. And anyone who's actually reading modern studies. So you're probably going to have to make some changes. Don't eat fried stuff at restaurants. Don't eat salad dressing at restaurants ever again. Whatever the sauce they're giving you, it's made out of crappy oil, right? Do that. No fried stuff unless you fry it yourself at home in good quality fats, which are going to be animal fats, which you probably won't do. Right? Do that and order the steak, order the fish, order the chicken. In fact, you might need to order twice as much because you're going to be hungry. You're going to eat some steaks and veggies. When you do that, magically, your energy is going to come back. And I'm 50. Actually, I turned 51 this month. And
congrats.
oh, thank you. My blood, my biology, I tested being 39 years old because I've written a major book on longevity. I'm spending a lot of my time in that space right now. But I just did a gene therapy that takes another 9 years off my life. So my labs will show that I'm 30 when I'm 51. And that's amazing. And I'm so excited about that. If I was to go out and start eating bad oils and crap proteins and not getting enough protein, my tissues would age more quickly. And I would not have the mental function that I do now, the energy that I do now.
Right. Dave, I love it. I mean, you know, what's remarkable is that I attribute you and our time together when Dave and I actually took a trip together and we were in Machu Picchu. We got to go to Chile and it was Peru, excuse me, and it was beautiful. It was an amazing trip. And as I sat down with Dave and he's ordering breakfast, you know, I had my eggs and I had some protein. I'd already been converting over to more of a ketogenic carnivore format. And Dave orders 2 steaks. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. Like I'm seeing this in real time. This is how you expand life. And for me, I was a vegetarian for 8 years. Now I just turned 57 in October. And I feel so much better. My energy level. No, I mean, seriously, energy level in, I'll say clarity of mind, thought, fogginess has gone away. And I thank you because your book has been instrumental in giving me the leverage to be able to see systematically that I can do this more intelligently. And I'm not lifting anywhere near as heavy a weights as I was now.
Yeah.
Not even close. I'm still active, but I'm not doing the same types of workouts. And to your point, using intelligence quotient, AI, to actually help facilitate this. Oh, this is so important, so important. I wish more people had access, or let me reframe that more people took advantage of the fact that AI is here and that you have access to it if you're willing, when you're willing to go ahead and take that on board. We've been trying to spur people, David, to use it for at least 20 minutes a day. Like do something with it. Help it with prompts and different questions. In fact, ask it questions that you don't know. So in other words, tell it what you know and say, what don't I see? What is, you know, what's out there? And how are you seeing this? As I know you have a daughter, correct?
I have a daughter and a son. They're 16 and 14.
Okay. Oh, beautiful ages. I'm sure you're knee deep in helping create a pre-frame for them around nutrition and healthy habits of eating. What are some of the things, and we'll get into AI in a second, but what are some of the things that you're finding for the youth right now that are most challenging outside of just peer pressure and everyone's eating French fries?
Peer pressure is always there for teenagers and younger kids. But the bigger thing is the very conscious programming from the big food industry. Meatless Mondays. I'm sorry, that's food-free Mondays is what that means, because there's nothing edible there. It's fully processed, ultra-processed crap food with bad oils and no protein. And of course, if you look at over time, if they keep doing that, you're going to see that the kids misbehave more on those days. And they're less focused, and they don't do as well on tests. And we know this to be true. So if kids believe that eating meat is bad for the environment, which is fundamentally stupid and wrong, if the cow eats grass and the cow makes methane, it makes exactly the same amount of methane that rotting grass makes without the cow. This is not hard. And as a guy who's built and run a regenerative farm, cows make thick, healthy soil. Thick, healthy soil binds carbon. Am I somewhat credible here? Well, yeah, I did build the farm. Also, you might have heard of Elon Musk's $100 million carbon capture X Prize. Well, the first $50,000 that funded that prize was my $50,000 donation, along with a speech that says carbon really matters. Guys, if you want less carbon, eat more grass-fed meat and stop industrial farming. And while we're at it, why don't we take millions of acres of corn and soy out of production and turn them back into prairies where we can have biological diversity? Another investment is doing that too. It's a company called 0 Acre Farms. 0 Acre Farms built a kind of yeast that can eat sugarcane, not sugar, but the whole sugarcane and even other types of crops, and turn them into oil that is safe for use in fast food restaurants, safe for humans to use, that at scale will cost 25% of soybean or corn or canola oil. So all of that industrial stuff we've done to land, we can return that back to nature as long as it's not too tortured with glyphosate, because that ruins soil sometimes for generations. So we can fix this. It's not that hard. But in the meantime, if you're a kid and your teacher is telling you cows, if your teacher's fat, don't trust them.
Great point.
Sorry, your teacher doesn't know how to eat, right? And if your teacher is lean and strong and healthy and vibrant, what do you do, teacher? I guarantee you that there's one of two things going on. If your teacher's under 30, they might be vegetarian or vegan, right? You can usually get away with it till you're 30, and then it really hits you. I have had the honor and privilege of being the first grass-fed, ethically raised meal, or at least attending that kind of meal with hundreds of vegans, sometimes with tears in their eyes. I was also a vegan. I was a raw vegan. I was a devout raw vegan. It gives you kidney stones and arthritis and gout and brain fog, and it lowers your testosterone, and it makes you less of a man, and it makes you less of a woman. It is what kings and queens and royalty would feed the serfs while they ate the meat. It wasn't because they liked the meat. It's because the meat is more nutritious. And it's been like this throughout all of human history. So if you're being tricked by someone to believe that the food that is most nourishing for you is going to be bad for the environment, so you should choose to be a weak teenager or a weak young adult, you should tell them to stuff it. Those are old people trying to use you. Do not accept that. Literally, you can laugh at them. It's okay. We're used to it.
Well, it's so interesting that you say this, because for the 8 years that I was a very devout vegetarian, I found I was losing muscle mass like crazy, and testosterone levels were dropping like a rock. This was arguably in my late 30s, going into my early 40s, early to mid 40s, and it was like, ooh, I started having pain, like joint pain and tendon pain, and it's like, why am I not recovering as quickly?
Yeah.
I didn't look like anything was wrong, but boy, my energy was all over the place too, to your point.
Yeah.
We've adopted drinking your Danger coffee,
Nice.
and we love it. We love it. And we've been using like coconut, I call it juice because they say it's coconut milk, but coconut juice as a froth, kind of, I'll say, accent to it with just drops of stevia in it. And it's been remarkable. Like for us, the level of clarity and the pump it gives us in the morning, and it lasts really till all I'll say is this: it has a subtle tapering off, but I've never gotten the jitters from it. I've never had. So thank you again for cultivating and putting your time, energy, resources, and money into things that are helping so many people.
Oh, you're welcome, Chuck. Danger Coffee it's dangercoffee.com. It's my new coffee company after leaving Bulletproof. It's a different idea. The beans are ultra clean, but they're full of trace minerals, a very large amount of trace minerals and electrolytes. The reason I did this is because as a former vegan and watching what my people are trying to feed my kids and just what we're eating as a society, we're eating plants that pull minerals out of your bones and out of your cells, and they make us lower energy. It doesn't matter if iron is in your spinach, because, Popeye has his spinach. No, Popeye was using testosterone, and they couldn't say that in the cartoons. So they said spinach for iron. The reality is that 5% of the iron in spinach can be absorbed because spinach has so many things in it that clog up your kidneys and soak up the calcium and zinc in your body. Spinach is one of the worst vegetables you could ever eat. When I was a raw vegan, I ate a lot of it, and I sure had all that whole body pain that comes from getting too much of that kind of anti-nutrient. So what's going on here is we've all had plants, especially some of the superfood plants, pull minerals out of us. When you don't have minerals, you can't make electricity in your brain. Your body is less efficient. You can't repair yourself. You can't even do your maintenance things that keep you young. So what if the minerals are in your coffee? What happens? Well, you absorb the coffee better. The coffee magically tastes incredibly good. This is your body going, give me minerals, give me minerals. The only thing that's probably better for you in terms of minerals is eating a grass-fed steak.
And I have been known to have steak and eggs and my danger coffee. And so,
and there are people now who are triggered saying, but I'm a vegetarian. Look, you can be a vegetarian. If you're a vegetarian, you need to do what your great grandparents vegetarians did. They didn't eat seed oils ever because you couldn't buy them. So if, say, you're from India, lots of friends from India, what did your grandmother give you when you didn't feel good? Ghee, which is butter. It's clarified butter, and white rice. White rice is better for you than brown rice. And everyone in rice eating countries knows this because you're getting rid of the toxins in the brown rice. Who cares about the fiber? The fiber comes with arsenic, and you don't want arsenic. So it turns out you can be vegetarian. That means you eat eggs, you eat cheese. Let's hope you're not allergic, and you have yogurt. And if you do enough of that, you'll be okay. Maybe some whey protein. But if you're not vegetarian, steak is better than lamb, is better than pork, is better than chicken, assuming it's organic pork. And eggs are probably up there right after lamb. Many people are allergic to eggs. But if you focus on those, you can also do whey protein as well. Most of us need to do a scoop or two of animal-based protein powder. Do not fall for the plant-based protein powder. That is about 50% as absorbable. You would need twice as much of that nonsense, and it has side effects that animal protein doesn't have. So you would take that and eat meat at every meal, at least 30 grams. And it's going to take you a week to go, I forgot I could feel this good. And it's going to take you a month to say, damn it, I got to buy new pants. It's not hard, but it's avoid the bad fats. And like I said, former 300-pound guy, 7% body fat, 20 minutes of exercise. And 20 minutes, like there's people who are way more ripped than me, but I'm all right looking like this with no time invested. Right. And it's not supposed to be hard.
Well, and not having the stressors, not having, the pain, the recovery time, all these things that, all the old cliches, right? No pain, no gain. And that you have to push your body to the limit in order to go ahead and facilitate, like you said, having the physicality, having the muscle, having the build. And I go, no, this is bananas. I see people that are in the gym for hours.
It's horrible.
And truth be told, my wife and I go together. We enjoy working out together and having that time together. And we do 20 minutes, half an hour combined. And it's like,
that's all.
People go, wait, you're leaving already? And I go, hey, did you see what we did? Like and we're getting stronger. That's the other part. Flexibility, fast twitch muscles, sinew. And when we're dressed for the beach, people are going, oh my God, like you guys are in pretty good shape. It's like, you must be killing yourselves. You must be starving yourselves. I go, nope.
There's a core belief that if you just starve yourself and work out all the time, that's how you look the way you look. So if I take my shirt off at a hotel pool or whatever, people are like, oh my God, like you must work out all the time. No, I'm not a fitness model. No, nothing. Right. I'm an entrepreneur with 6 companies. So what's going on here? What's going on here is the stuff that's in Smarter, Not Harder. And whether you have fat or not, it is just what's on your plate. It is not about exercise. That was a lie. And we know this at some level because there's $400 million a year of ghost gym memberships in the US where you pay but never go.
Absolutely.
And that's why I started Upgrade Labs too, because like I don't want to go to the gym ever. Right. I just want to, snap my fingers and have the physique of someone who goes to the gym, except most people go to the gym, don't get very good results per minute because they're overtraining, way overtraining, especially women. And this just like hurts. It hurts to see it. See these women going, I need to look good in my yoga pants. And like, I want to have the body I want. So I'm going to do the lettuce diet and I'm going to go to spin class for an hour a day. Now, this was me when I was a vegan. And even before I was a vegan, I was a vegetarian or semi-vegetarian. I worked out 90 minutes a day, 6 days a week without fail. Half weights, half cardio on a low calorie diet. I did it for 18 months straight, no matter what, top priority every day. I never lost a pound. I still had a 46-inch waist and I was stronger. Sure, it was somehow good. I was overtraining. When you have toxins in your body or you're overtraining, your hormones break, especially for women. So many women I know, it's like, hey, take a day off, like do something every other day. And chronic cardio doesn't make you lose weight effectively at all. And when they eat more, especially more protein and more good fats, magically they start losing weight. Because if your body is overtrained, you just don't lose weight because the body says you might die. Like there's a stressful situation. Why would I build more muscle and get rid of fat? I'm going to hold on to everything because something's wrong. And here's why an hour workout isn't a good idea. In Smarter, Not Harder, I talk about one of the technologies from Upgrade Labs. It's an AI-powered exercise bike. Now, using the working hard gets results, grind it out. Okay, let's just assume you're going to do an hour a day of cardio. Just going to, one of the spin classes with the lady in the front yelling at you while they're playing some kind of Katy Perry song or whatever they're into, right? And you're going to stand up and pedal when everyone else does, because otherwise they're going to judge you. So it's a shame-powered workout. And you get done, like I'm sweaty and I have endorphins and I have cortisol and adrenaline. I feel good. Like I accomplished something. And you go take a shower and get athlete's foot in the gym. And then like, okay, I'm hungry now. We're going to try not to eat. Well, here's what's really going on. The body says you were being hunted and you ran away, but then that was the first hill and then you didn't get away. So you went up the second hill. And then for a whole hour, there was a tiger chasing and you couldn't get away. And you finally barely got away. Oh, and then there was a famine because you ate that vegan nugget thing where there was no minerals and there was no protein. I guess there's a famine and you're being hunted all the time. I wonder whether I should get younger and stronger or if I should just get more stressed. So you could say, Dave, you're exaggerating, except here's the data. This is now 3 studies from the University of Colorado that I cite in Smarter, Not Harder. This is why I put this technology inside Upgrade Labs. 5 minutes, 3 times a week versus an hour a day. And of that 5 minutes, only 40 seconds is hard. The rest of it's boring. No sweating, no need to change clothes, no need to take a shower. Okay, let's compare those two. 15 minutes versus 5 hours plus showers. The 5 hours a week, you'll improve by 2% if you do that for 2 months. Your cardiovascular system will. That's a measure called VO2 max. If you do the Upgrade Labs version for 5 minutes, 3 times a week, you improve by 12%. So you get 6 times more results in 15 minutes instead of 5 hours, and you didn't have to take a shower unless you just wanted to.
There's something too within this that I want to thank you for, and that is the psychological impact that this has for someone as well. The level of empowerment that it creates, because literally anyone can experience this.
Oh yeah.
Anyone. And it removes the onus, right, of I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
You spend 15 minutes brushing your teeth over the course of a week, really 2 minutes a day, right? So I think you can do it, right? This is game changing. And there are similar things you can do for muscles that are 3 to 5 times faster per minute, and for stress management and all the above. And I just wanted to write Smarter, Not Harder. And it's the main reason I'm opening Upgrade Labs is to get revenge on those 702 hours of time that I believe that working hard got results. And Chuck, you're an executive strategist. You work with entrepreneurs all over the place. Do you ever know entrepreneurs who work really hard and don't get results?
Oh.
We all know people who work their asses off and don't get results. What makes you think that working hard is related to getting results? In fact, it's not. In fact, the less you work while getting results, the better you are. So we have a belief that working hard makes us moral and not wanting to work hard makes us bad. And that's completely wrong. Your biology is wired to conserve energy. The couch with cheesecake will always look sexier than the gym. And there's nothing wrong with you if you choose the couch or you want to lay down on the couch. Now, you might want to improve your willpower, but guess where willpower comes from? Oh, mitochondria. You don't have energy, you don't have willpower. There's lots of studies that support that. So if you're sitting there going, I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I just want to lay on the couch, and then you choose to do it, it's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you're irrational. It's because your body made the cheesecake look really, really attractive, and it made the gym look like it was Mount Everest. And when you do what I'm talking about, you have the energy. The gym doesn't look like Mount Everest, and you don't want the cheesecake because you're not starving anymore. And then you go to the gym and it's 5 minutes with 20 seconds of hard stuff, 40 seconds, I apologize. And then you're done with your cardio and you got 6 times more results and you're laughing about it. That's also motivating because
it is. Well, intelligence quotient though, and EQ and IQ actually run in tandem. The challenge is that we've been so conditioned for decades of our lives that you're supposed to work hard. In fact, you're supposed to live in push and pull, not flex and flow.
Yeah.
And anyone who's ever done martial arts as an example, they go, oh, the training. And I said, well, it depends. Depends on which training you've actually gone through. Most of the martial arts that are traditional martial arts actually are about movement. Look at Tai Chi. That's what millions of Chinese, if not close to 1 billion Chinese, exercise on a daily basis. And it's like, why? Well, it's not filled with tension. It's actually filled with energetic flow. If you were actually to look at, under Correllian photography, a group of people that were facilitating this, you see that they're swimming in a sea of energy. And it's the most beautiful thing. Unlike some martial arts, which are, I'll say, the more martial side and less the art, where it's all thrust. It's again, contraction, it's push and pull. That's a very different. That's about force and expansion of energy and not regenerative energy, which is what you and I are discussing.
You're right. And what I find is that I've had a chance to look at people's biology at Upgrade Labs, and I run a very high-end neuroscience clinic for entrepreneurs and pro athletes and things like that. It's called 40 Years of Zen. So I've had a chance to look at the brainwaves and talk with like 1,500 people over the past few years who spend 5 days with my team, like looking at what's going on inside their head. And what you find is that your body takes about 30 pounds of air and some kind of food and converts them to electricity every day. And then it's a game of how do you make every electron count? Right? It's like you want a car that gets good mileage, but you also want a car that's fast enough, right? So you're always kind of balancing this out. It's the same thing with your brain. So your brain makes all sorts of intellectual shortcuts and it convinces you that they're true because it's too much work to think about it. So you just make a quick decision. Well, it's making a quick decision that feels like it's right to save you electricity from really thinking about everything. Imagine how annoying it would be if you had to really think everything fully through. You couldn't even function. You'd be overwhelmed.
You go insane.
Right? But the problem is it still feels real. And our work hard, get results thing feels real. The whole thing about energy feels real. But what that also means is that you can play back an energetic feeling. And that's what a lot of Qigong, Tai Chi, and some of the other energetic exercises that I do and that I've learned around the world and that I sometimes teach is that you can summon those energies in the body by almost remembering what they feel like, and then you can direct them. But it's way easier to do that if you have enough minerals. It's way easier to do that if you had some animal protein. It's easier to do that if your brain works as you didn't eat canola oil and you ate some butter or an egg yolk instead. So when I work with energetic masters, martial artists, and gurus who come through the program, who I know personally, all of them, when they try increasing their minerals, when they try biohacking techniques to improve efficiency of energy production, they all go, my powers are stronger. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. And if you're an entrepreneur and your power is building $100 million companies over and over, that power gets stronger too, because your company, its energy field, now I'll sound like, some kind of yoga teacher, its energy field will match your energy field. So if you're low energy and you're chaotic and you're easy to trigger, you'll have a company that looks the same way. And
frequency attracts frequency, right? I mean, so to your point, and thank you. I know you to be a very validated person of science who looks at quantitative analysis and qualitative as well. I share that with all of our viewers for one very simple reason, and that is we're not talking about woo-woo. The woo-woo actually comes from the feelings that you get about having a sense of security, being impassioned, being in a state of flex and flow. And what's brilliant about this, to your point, Dave, and thank you for this, is that we get this compounding effect where it's not just one thing, right? It's like now there's a synergy in body, mind, and spirit where I will say and I apologize ahead for saying this. I don't believe that the body's seeking balance. I believe that we're all seeking equilibrium or synergy, that there's this harmonious level in life where change is going to occur with or without you. There's going to be stimuli. There's going to be external resources. There's going to be internal resources, i.e., if you're king in water, the system drops down and pH levels change. If you're not getting the same level of filtration, and now there's high fluoride and fluorine and chlorine and all these different things that are in your water. You are what you eat. You are what you ingest, and also swim in as well. I often, we have a saltwater pool as an example.
Nice.
I love it. Oh, it's brilliant. And I found myself when I've been in hotels that have chlorine pools, I'm not as energized when I get out of the water. I actually feel like my body is heavy and not light and connected. So maybe, and I'm just putting this out there as hyperbole or question, when we are resonating at a certain frequency, it's my hallucination that we are seeking like energies to be in concert with. It's one of the reasons why we created Your Best Life, so we could be around like-minded, like-hearted people.
I mean, you could think it's you could think it's a hallucination, but it's really interesting that casinos have a guy they'll send to your table when you're on a winning streak, and he'll sit down and play, and you'll have a losing streak.
A cooler, right?
Cooler, exactly. It's because they're hallucinating, or it's because they have the data. And one of the things I like about biohacking is, people in some articles, they've called me the most measured man on the planet and stuff like that, which I don't know if that's true or not, but 6 months of my life with electrodes on my head, 15 years of tracking my sleep almost every night, stuff like that. You start to learn things. And the reality is that some of that stuff is scientifically validated. And there's also two kinds of evidence that I would encourage our listeners to pay attention to. We've got all these ads from the big pharmaceutical companies saying, well, we have done double-blinded placebo-controlled trials, and they're the only thing you can trust. That's nonsense. You want to trust someone? Find a doctor who's done it for 30 years and ask them what works. That's called clinical evidence, and it is just as valid as the stuff that the big drug companies try to insist on. I will take what a doctor tells me works over and over and over before I'll take a study that probably can't even be reproduced. So I don't ignore what happens when I sit down privately, and you do too, with very successful entrepreneurs like both of us. If you ignore the psychology, the emotional state, the energetics of being an entrepreneur and a leader and showing up for hundreds or thousands of people or millions of people, at least online, you're doing it wrong, and you probably won't succeed. So there are some very conscious, very successful business people, and there are some who just say it's all nonsense, and they probably believe that. I don't know how they do it. And there are many more who say it's all nonsense, and they go home and they meditate.
I so love this conversation. I was watching an interview with Henry Cavill the other day, plays Superman. He's from the UK. And they were asking him what he eats, and he goes, food. And they're like, okay, smart Alec. What types of foods? And he eats primarily protein, and that is his thing. Now, he did say that he did get a gift from Tom Cruise after, I think it was the Mission Impossible movie that they made together. And it's of this decadent coconut cake. And of course, he gets it, and now he's preparing for the Superman role again. And he's like, can't have the cake. Can't have the cake. And his buddy took a slice of the cake. It was like, you are stupid, man. How dare you not try this cake? So the reason why I'm going there is we can go ahead and eat to our heart's content. And I'm not for one moment, and I don't believe you are either, going forego something that gives you great pleasure. A slice of cake is not going to kill you when you've been eating healthy, clean, and fueling your body, because now the machine is running really well. I akin it to, like, if I get a few ounces of bad fuel by comparison to running premium octane all the time, my system is probably not even going to know the difference.
Yeah. And it's also a difference. He was eating some coconut cheesecake thing that was probably made out of good ingredients.
Yes.
Right. And it's different than going to Cheesecake Factory where there's, synthetic, whatever the heck is in there. Right. So just because you're going to have some carbs, if you're working on a low carb diet, it's not cheating and failure. If you eat a bowl of nachos, it's a different thing than you had a slice of, homemade sourdough bread at a friend's house. They're different animals. And so it's
Yes.
not failure. It's a sliding switch. And it's funny that you mentioned Superman. Brendan Routh, who played Superman in 2006, wrote the foreword for my cookbook because he used the Bulletproof diet to get in shape when he took his next superhero role in Legends of Tomorrow. And we got to be friends on it. And he lost 20 pounds doing this kind of stuff. But it is possible to have dessert. And for those of us in the world of business and all, some people, in fact, Tim Ferriss, who's I've interviewed several times, very interesting human being. He is he's saying, well, you should do a cheat meal, right? And a cheat meal, I used to do that. It doesn't work very well because it gives you cravings for days. So you
Yes.
can say, all right, today I'm going to have a lot of carbohydrates. You have a lot of fruit. You're going to have some sorbet. Maybe you have ice cream if you're not allergic to dairy. It's got sugar in it, but you didn't have the deep fried apple pie, whatever, gluten bomb. We all know it's like a really bad dessert versus I had some sugar. So I would just say have a graceful degradation on your cheat day. It's a high carb day, but you're not going to eat the stuff that's really bad for you. And so the difference between having a Snickers, right, and having a piece of dark chocolate is very meaningful for how I feel the next day. So you enjoy life. I eat the most amazing food. In fact, I don't know if you heard the doorbell ring. That was a grass-fed Wagyu ribeye arriving. I'm going to throw it on the grill as soon as we're done with this interview. That's my dinner, and it's really good.
Absolute 100%, 100%. And now I'm jealous. Hey, I was going to ask you too, and again, thank you so much for all this clarity, David, and sharing so many distinctions and insights. I oftentimes, because I'm a husband and a father, I'm married to the most amazing, beautiful woman, and we have my son and two girls. And I noticed that my son can eat very much like I eat, and Julie can eat like I eat as well to a point. And then carnivore starts to become a little challenging for her.
Carnivore is not a great diet for anyone long term. Just let's be really straightforward. You can be animal protein centric, which I have been for a very long time, as well as animal fat centric, because we're made out of animal fat. We're not made out of canola oil. And the results speak for themselves, not just with me, but we've known this for a long time, like hundreds or thousands of years we've known this. But what this means, though, is that going zero carb for long periods of time does bad things to your gut bacteria. And there are some people where, like Jordan Peterson, he's well known, meat and salt. Do that for a month. But when I did that for 3 months, I got leaky gut, and I actually had eggs too, and some things like that. And I ended up getting an egg allergy I didn't have. This is when I was testing the edges of the diet recommendations that I put in my book, The Bulletproof Diet. So what I would encourage people to do is think about that, but there is no reason that you need to be on zero carb diets for a long period of time. The other reason I wrote The Bulletproof Diet, this is almost 750,000 copies sold globally, very big success, and it kind of changed a lot of our conversations around even the carnivore diet. In it, I say you can use ketosis as a scalpel to lose weight. You go in, you go out, and you might go in for 5 days, and on the weekend, have some honey, have some fruit, have some white rice. If you're not allergic to bread, you could do that, although I don't think bread's good for anyone. But basically, go in and out of ketosis, and it's so much better for your gut, right? You don't need to eat a ton of veggies all the time. In fact, a lot of veggies really do cause problems, and the more boring ones are probably okay. Want some lettuce? Have some lettuce. Want some cucumber? Have some cucumber. Want some kale, spinach, beet, rhubarb, raspberry, almond salad? All of those can contribute to 70% of the kidney stones that people get are caused by plants, not by animals. So maybe just, okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm trying to get healthy, cut out the plants. They're probably a source of problems, and have a little carbohydrate every now and then, and you'll be fine. And when your pants fit great, add some more carbs. And I'm at that point, I actually eat probably a couple 100 grams of white rice, and I put honey and stuff and ate some fruit because otherwise I get too thin. I used to be fat, right? So I'll get, like not enough. I have too much skin for the amount of face I have. And under 7% body fat in men is actually not good for longevity. So I work to keep my body fat up. Guys, 300 pounds for the first 30 or so years of my life, going up and down before that. And I have to work to keep weight on. And it's not muscle. I got plenty of muscle. It's to keep fat on. And I'm never hungry. And I work out 20 minutes a week. And it's just not that hard. And if you're going, that's not fair. Dude, it's totally fair. You're just doing it wrong. And like, you can have this. It's not that hard. So yeah, it's not fair. I spent $2 million to figure all this stuff out, but you could do it for free. Like, go for it. And if you choose not to, don't blame me. Don't blame your mom. Don't blame your doctor. Don't blame anyone else. It was you, because it's your fault. It's your fault because you have control. And if it's not your fault, you're helpless. And that's even worse than it being your fault. So number one, you're lazy, and that's a good thing. Number two, it's your fault, and that's a good thing. Number three, it's not that hard, and that's a good thing. So like, get to it.
It sounds like a winning combination to me. I mean, and I'm living proof of it. And
let me try a different. You're going to have to work tirelessly every day for hours. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to wake up at 5 a.m. and sweat on your mother. And then you're going to have to hold your face in ice water for 5 minutes. By the way, I do ice baths. And then you're going to have to eat oatmeal with no fat. Like, I don't want to live that life. I just don't. No. And it's not necessary. No. It's just acting online. And it doesn't even work very well, because on a permanent basis, dude, don't you have a company to run? Don't you have kids to raise? Do you have meditation to do? Like, beating yourself up for 2 or 3 hours a day. You know what's going to happen when you're 60 years old? You're going to need new knees and new hips, and it's going to suck.
And these are the same people that are saying, I don't have time. I don't have time to look at investments. I don't have time to spend meaningful time in my relationship. I don't have time. And I was like, they go, well, Chuck, you talk about self-care. And I said, yes. Did I tell you how much? Did I tell you that it was a requirement that you beat yourself to death and then have to live in recovery for the next 3 days after having a single workout on a Monday? And then now it's Thursday and you're finally able to get back to the gym?
Yeah.
It's like
that. You're probably doing it wrong if you do that.
And I used to do it wrong a lot.
Oh, we all did. 90 minutes a day of exercise is absurd. And when I talk with even professional athletes like Nick Foles, mentioned my work many times in his book. This is a Super Bowl MVP and a friend, and just an amazing human being, like one of the most humble, nice, kind, honorable men I've ever met. He works out more than 90 minutes a day, but he recovers like a machine. He's got all the tech, a lot of the same stuff from Upgrade Labs. And he's got, a very careful diet, and he sleeps every time he can, and compression pants, everything, because he knows he's overtraining. Right. Yeah. And that's allowed him to extend his career by focusing on recovery, not more stress. Right. And so if you're not Nick Foles, you're not a fitness competitor, or, Arnold Schwarzenegger in his heyday, 90 minutes a day is insane.
Oh, it's a ton.
Go for a walk, like go for a nice hike with someone for fun for 90 minutes, because you can and you love it and it's nice. Sure. But to like sit there on the stair stepper, good God. I have a friend who taught spin class, right? She only taught 3 or 4 a day on top of her normal job because she really liked it. In her 40s, she got new hips, right? It's possible to do this to yourself. Show me how many people are still jogging in their 60s. It's a tiny percent, because 80% of people who start running at the beginning of the year get injured by the end of the year. Like, it is not something that's sustainable for most people. Running is not a great form of exercise if you want to live a long time. That said, if you absolutely love running, you probably should spend most of your money and time with someone who's going to teach you really good technique, and you should buy special shoes that allow your feet to move properly. Or you could find a hobby that doesn't break your body down.
Dave, this has been amazing, man. I'm so grateful for this time with you, and so appreciative for all your knowledge and information. We have basically like 1 minute to wrap up there. It goes by so fast. And thank you. Go out and get the book, y'all. I'm telling you right now, it will change your life. Bulletproof Diet is a precursor that you can use as a great, I'll say, basic
Yeah.
foundation.
That's the
for
food
everything.
one, and Smarter Not Harder is the exercise one. Go to Own and Upgrade Labs if you want to know about the opening one in your neighborhood. And Danger Coffee is the coffee that puts minerals back in your body.
And it's delicious. I vouch for it. We're on auto ship and it comes every month, and I'm like a kid in a candy store every time that thing arrives on my doorstep.
Nice.
So we appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I know you're again going to be taking off tomorrow. Safe travels. God bless you. And thank you again for sharing so much of your time, knowledge, and information with us. You're a gift, and I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate you and your time.
Thank you, Chuck. I look forward to seeing you at the next YBL event. I love them.
I'm looking forward to having you there, my friend. I'm going to remind everyone that the show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check us out for all the news and all the programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks, brother.